Hello everybody, Hahano here. This time bringing you a new video with Sejuani. Now this is my first new video since I've gotten my new computer, and you're going to see there's a lot of improvements that I've made, or hopefully improvements. I'm trying to cut down on the overall time. Some of the videos are really hard to upload because once you get into high quality they exceed the 2 gig limit that YouTube has. So I'm trying to edit the videos, trim them to get them about 10 minutes long, maybe a little less, maybe a little more, but more in the 10-minute range, and that'll eliminate a lot of the dead time. A lot of people watching just me jungle and a couple other like ums and ahs and fumbling with words. So I'll be editing the videos, I'll be going through the videos very quickly and showing you the highlights. I will also jungle everybody to level 6 because the early levels are really the critical ones as far as character dependency goes, but when you're talking about post jungling it really comes a blur for most characters. You kind of fall into an archetype and not necessarily just that jungler. So this game I'm bringing you Sejuani. Now Sejuani is a ganking machine. She's really just good at going from lane to lane and ganking and providing constant pressure. This game is a shortened version of a 30-minute game in which I do very well, our team does really well, and most of it's in part of my being in position for the correct times as well as doing a lot of lane presence and early ganking. She's really able to do this once she gets Philosopher's Stone. I start Cloth Armor and 5 potions. This gives her a lot more sustainability in the jungle because she does have a lot of issues early on with life. If you'll see from here, I take actually a bar of health from wolves, and when I start to blue, I lose another 2 or 3 bars, and that's with leashes on both of them. So her life sustainability is really pretty awful. And so to counteract that, I get Cloth Armor and 5 potions. It sets you back from your Philosopher's Stone a little bit, but it also allows you to have a level 3 and a level 4 gank with pretty high life, especially with heal. And you'll see that I actually perform a level 3 gank on middle, and having the extra potions keeps me alive. So my typical route, I go wolves, and then I go blue, and then I go right into wraiths, and I go down for golems. Now with Sejuani, after you've hit level 3, because of the skilling order I have, which is W, then your Q, and then your E, that gives you an ability to do a level 3 gank. And it also brings damage to the jungle, so it's not like you're hurting yourself by not leveling W a second time, or Q a second time, or whatever the case. So Q, W, and E at level 3 are going to allow you to have a pretty strong gank. And here I notice in mid that Sion is really pushed up against our Fizz. So I'm going to pan the camera over. I'm going to go jump onto Sion here, and I'm going to charge in, and you'll see that Shaco actually had a similar idea. So we have a little bit of a scuffle here. I activate my slow. I slow everyone down. Fizz comes out to help me. I use my summoner heal to keep Fizz alive through Sion's Ignite, and everything worked out alright. I think if I hadn't have been there, Shaco might have killed Fizz, despite Fizz's escapability. So I came in, tried to take care of business. Fizz really wasn't happy about that, but I did heal him in his lane, so it's not like all was lost. So I'm going to go back and resume jungling. When you play Sejuani, you really want to do your smaller camps. Because you have really low life sustain, doing your larger camps makes you lose a lot of life and also a lot of mana, and it takes forever. It really just takes a long time. More time than usual. It's not that it takes an inordinate amount of time, it's just more time than it's worth to do that camp. So you'll see I actually don't end up taking red for most of the game. When I do end up taking red, it's usually to give to my either bottom laner or top laner, which comes later in the game, but you can also synergize with your bottom and top laners in order to give them that red earlier on. So here I noticed that bottom lane was pushed up. They had just had a little scuffle, so I'm going to come in and go on them. Now they had warded pretty well, and you're going to see this in most of your games. Of all the lanes that are warded, bottom is usually warded earliest and most often. So I like to run in and make sure that they know I'm there, they know I'm committing, and they know I'm going to do something. And that's about what I'm going to do right here on top lane. I'm not going to necessarily secure a kill, but Tryndamere is beginning pressured heavily by Riven in the early levels, so I'm just coming in, I'm making her blow a flash, I'm doing some free damage to her, and then I'm just going to back off. And this is just pressure and psychology that really gets to the enemy laners. So right now I've ganked mid once, I've ganked bottom once, and I've ganked top once. None of them have netted me a kill. However, all of them have netted me the presence that I will be in your lane, and I will go on you if you step out, if you overextend, or some other thing like that, which is really going to put that seed of doubt in everybody's mind, hopefully, unless they're bad. And if they're bad, it doesn't matter because you're just kind of beating them up anyway. I actually got a little counter jungled here by Shaco. He took my red. I wasn't actually going to get red anyway, so I'm really not, crushed by this. It's not a big deal. I continue doing my small camps. I typically use Smite on golems because she's like a Moo in that she has a pretty strong AoE and she's able to take down the wraiths and wolf camps pretty easily because it's uniform damage to almost everything with almost uniform life. But the higher life stuff I like to use Smite for. So here I'm going to try and go in a bottom again. They pull out. Again, just making sure they know I'm there. So I just back off, roll into mid, see what I can get done there. So Sion is recalled, and Shaco is covering for him. And one thing you need to watch out, and also probably try to do as a jungler, is you can turn a lane covering into a gank if necessary. So right here, Sion will be back very soon, and Fizz has just jumped on Shaco. So there's Sion coming back. Fizz landed a really good shark on Shaco, but thankfully I had seen what was going on beforehand. I knew what was up, so I was in position. Tryndamere was also in position. We were in position to slow Sion and CC him enough that Fizz got out alive. So when you're a jungler, you really need to kind of predict these kinds of situations that might arise when you see something kind of fishy, like, hey, Sion hasn't been back in a while. Shaco's still covering. He has red buff if he comes around. These kinds of things you need to calculate into what you're doing. So I was on my way to do blue anyway, so I might as well make a pit stop right at the middle bushes. Instead of running through my jungle, I'm being a little extra safe for my laners. So here I'm picking up blue. I actually asked Fizz in chat if he wanted it, and he denied blue. And I've officially hit level 6, so things are going to kind of speed up as far as the video goes. So once you hit level 6, her ultimate is pretty ridiculous. It's an AoE stun, which is very powerful. It's also ranged, and by ranged I mean extremely ranged. So it's sort of on the scale of Xerath. It's a really great ability. It's like a ranged Amumu, but it has disruption as well, so it's just good. Tryndamere here gets caught on top. Again, I'm going to support. I know he has Endless Rage. I wasn't sure if he had his Flash up or Ghost, and if he had gotten out. If you saw, if he lived a second or two longer, I was in position to ultimate both the top laners, in which case he would have lived. So I just returned to my route after covering his lane, and then I see that now that Tryndamere's actually picked up items, he's really putting a lot of pressure on this Riven, and this Riven's kind of falling behind because she hasn't been back to buy in a little while. So she's half-life, she's chugging a potion right now. I'm going to come around on her and see what I can do. She jumps and stuns on Tryndamere. I throw an ult from pretty much the brush. I throw down some heavy slows, and right as my life starts to dip, I throw out that summoner heal. We both heal up pretty much to full, and that's an extremely safe tower dive maneuver, and it works very well with summoner heal. So, go back, you do your smaller camps again, and I'm just running through my jungle. At this point I see some more action going on in mid, so I'm going to go and support that. Again, Shaco really far out of position, jumping onto Fizz. Fizz is excellent bait. This Shaco really just is trying to eat him up, but that's alright. It's more kills for us. So here bottom lane has seen me warded again, so I'm just floating around. The only camp that's up right now is my red buff, so I'm going to let that go. I return. I see Sion has come to bottom. I've actually scared him off a little bit. He's either returning to middle or he's going around to the tower. Either way, he's not ganking my bottom lane anymore. And then I see that Fizz has gotten himself into some trouble. So another great use for your ultimate is something like right there, where if I had not used that for Fizz, he was absolutely going to die. He had Sion and Shaco on him. But at a really long range over a cliff, I was able to throw it out of the fog of war, stun the both of them, and have him get away. So it's really great utility. And again, bottom lane is in a constant state of overextending this game. So I'm going to return to bottom lane where I see that they're pushed up pretty far. Graves lands a great ultimate on Shaco and takes him down. Shaco is he's far behind in this game, and he's still playing like he's ahead or fed. And Ashe and Janna, their ward had just expired, and they shouldn't have been extended that far. You need to kind of watch out for those ward timers when you're jungling. As a general feel, they usually place them around, say, 1 minute, so you know at 4 minutes the ward expires. If they place a ward right away, 7 minutes the next one. You just count 3 minutes from each. So I continue going around, terrorizing all the lanes. Another summoner heal dive on Riven, which not only nets us a kill, but it nets us the second inside tower here. So, you know, that ultimate is just so powerful. Having that 2 seconds stun on someone, it's just so much damage. And so much CC that a lot of people can't really stand up to that, especially when you have high damage from your lanes. So I'm going to showcase a little bit of our team fighting abilities. Right here we're looking to pick up blue, the enemy blue, so we're going through, taking it out. We're running as a team at this point because we were trying to do team objectives such as dragon and the enemy blue. And we're getting a little bit brazen here. We're actually going to end up having an unfavorable exchange. I got a lot more ballsy than I should have here, diving on all of them in tower range, and this is actually where I pick up my death in the game. Bottom lane is a good play by coming up. You need to have that kind of map awareness to come up and join a fight. So they ended up getting a tower and a couple kills out of that. But we sprung back. We're picking up dragon now after a bottom lane gank. You'll see Ashe's hawk shot. The reason she's not coming is because she's the only one down there, and it's not a great idea to do that. And speaking of bad ideas, Tryndamere here, trying to take the enemy blue for some reason. Gets caught by Sion and Ashe, and Shaco makes a good play, jumping over that wall, picking him up on the other side. Unfortunately, our bottom lane is also here. Graves picks up another ultimate blast on Janna for a kill on him. Fizz jumps onto Shaco, and Shaco leaves. So we get into a scuffle here. There's 4-on-4 right here going on. I end up throwing out my ultimate, hitting Riven right here, which slows her for long enough to keep the CC on her to net us this kill. She ends up getting away a little farther than we wanted to, but I come in, I take the tower hits, and I get out. And that's one of the real jobs as a tank. You want to get in, you want to take hits, take damage, take CC, aggro, everything, deal everything you have, and then get out with as low life as you possibly can. So, and this is one thing you don't want to do as a tank, which is charge into a blind bush. It ended up working out alright for us because we were fed and I had summoner heal. But I saw one person go into the bush, so I decided to charge in like Rambo and ended up netting us a kill, and they're still fighting down there. I'm actually circling back around to land some CC on Sion to make sure he doesn't get away. And Fizz ends up jumping on Janna because he's fed out of his mind at this point and just drops him really fast. So after that exchange, we go around, we take middle tower, and we're pretty much gearing up for Baron at this point. Tryndamere has started Baron, so we're going to come in and support him. We dip pretty low as far as life goes, but we don't actually die to it. We end up taking Baron, and the game ends pretty much shortly thereafter. So I hope you like my video on Sejuani, and I will continue doing videos like this unless I have comments that really say otherwise, that I should probably go back to the old way where, you know, 20, 30, 40-minute videos of full games. But this is Sejuani, strong ganks, early snowballs, and helps your team win the game. Hope you enjoyed it. Thanks.